Welcome back. Chuck here at Garden Spot Acres. We're on episode 30 in the tiny log cabin build. Today, we're going to be trimming out the windows. I'll be showing you a way to trim out your windows that's really convenient. Let's take a look. Trim out your windows on a bench, not in the window. All your seams are tight, and it looks a heck of a lot nicer than trimming it out in place. You don't have to worry about imperfections in your framing. You just have to make this small enough so it fits in. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 windows to do that are exactly the same size. This method saves you a lot of time. You can build them off-site, pop them in. That's what we're going to be doing today. Before I built this trim work here, I had to take some measurements. I needed to know my inside measurement in my sill is 24 1/8. I'm going to make mine 24. You don't want to build these exactly the right measurements because you don't know how your frame, if your frame has any imperfections in it. You don't want to get caught up. So you want to go a little bit smaller. So I build mine for 24. I need to know the depth here. 2 3/8. And I needed to know a length. You have to get wide enough on your sill so that your upright trim can sit on it. And you want to go a little bit past, usually go a little bit past. So I made mine 33. Let's take a walk over to the shop and we'll cut those window sills out of some knotty pine planking that I have on hand. Hey, we're back from the shop. I have one of those sills that I just cut out. Now I need to trim it down into the correct size. That was what, 33 inches. All right, we got our sill cut down to 33 inches now. Now remember that measurement I took, 24 inches? So I need to find the center of my sill. So it was 33, that's what, 16 and a half. I'm gonna mark 16 and a half here. And I'm gonna go this way, because we want to remember 24 was the inside measurement. So I'm going to mark off 12 inches this direction. I'm going to mark off 12 inches this direction. Let's go over to the sill that we have done. And what we need to do is we're going to cut out these little corners, because this needs to set in. It needs to all the way to the window here, out here, around here, and down. So let's take a look at the one I have done. I'll flip it over, and you can see what it looks like. So we need to take out these notches here, these corners. Okay, so here's my marks. So this is 24 inches from here to here. It's centered in my sill. I want to take out these corners. Now I just decided which corner to take out because on the back of my sill here, it's got a kind of a bad edge. So that's going to be down. This will be against the window. So that's not going to show. And this edge here is a good edge. So look at your sill, see if you have a good edge or a bad edge, and do it accordingly. Okay, remember, this is the side that's going to be out into the room. So I'm taking this corner out. And I need this to set in 2 3/8. So I need 2 3/8 here. So I'm going to measure from here 2 3/8. Like that. And that little chunk right here is cut out. I'll do that on the other side also. It's going to sit in just like that. And you can see it's right up against the framing. It's a little bit small, so I don't have to worry too much. Now my next thing I need to do is I need to get a measurement from here and make sure it's held tight up to here. Okay, I'm getting 29 1/4, and I need to knock off 3/4 because I have my cross piece coming in here. I want to build that so it's on top of these. So let's get that measurement again. 29 1/4. That brings me to 28 1/2 when I drop it down 3/4, but I want to leave a little bit of play. So I'm going to go 28 3/8. So I need 2 uprights that are 28 3/8. I want to make sure these are exactly the same. So I'm going to cut them on top of each other. And just barely touch this one. I cut this one a little bit long. It's a sliver long. So now I can go ahead and make sure they're lined up on the end. Now my 2 uprights are exactly the same height now. Okay. Now I need a cross piece that's going to go across the top of these from here, this finger to this finger. And that's going to be the same as the opening on the bottom, 24 inches. So let's cut a 24. This is my square edge here. Now I'll swing that around so I can see the mark. So now we have the inside trim cut. That looks just like that. If you've ever trimmed windows with individual pieces right in the frame, You know, sometimes the frames are got a little twist in them, or, you know, little problems, and you never get nice, perfect corners. Well, this can take care of that, building these frames away from the window. So let's go ahead and get these three together, and then we can mount that right onto our sill. What I need to do here is grow a third hand. It's always easier with 3 hands, but I don't have 3 hands. So we're gonna play around with this, just bear with me. Put some glue on here. Put some glue on there. We're gonna go ahead over here on this side. Just hold it for a second till that glue absorbs a little bit into your end grain. Helps hold it. Gets a little tacky. Now I take my staple gun. Make sure she's on there well. Check it. I'm using 1.5" crown staples. They're 1/4" crown staples. These airstrike guns are so great. You don't have that big old air hose hanging around, you know, trailing around and getting tangled up in things. I'll just swing this around now. Do the same thing on this side. All right, now we'll just give that a second to set up. And our next step will be to attach the sill right to that piece. All right, the 3 pieces that we have together, they've set up for a few minutes. So I'll swing this around now. Now I gotta make sure this is the inside of the window. So I have to make sure I put this sill on here correctly. And it goes on just like that, I believe. This will be the bottom. You won't see this. I ripped this out of, like I said, the knotty pine planking. You can see the beadwork in it. So that's going to be attached like that. We're going to do the same thing. We'll put some glue in it and 2 staples on each side. Give it a couple minutes to set up. Then we'll start cutting out the pieces for the face frame. There we go. Just want to line it up on the outside like that. Line it up on the front. Check it again. I guess you could use brads for this. Could use screws if you wanted to. But with the glue and the staples, it's going to be plenty. Here you can see what a crown staple looks like. It's got a little crown on it. These are 1.5 inch this way. They're a 1/4 inch between your prongs. And these hold like crazy. These are galvanized and they hold like crazy. So let's see if this fits. Pop it in. And there you go. Let's go to another window. I said all my windows were the same, right? There it is. I just need to drive this back. It's got that tape in here. I'm not too worried about that. It's not wood. It's just that tape has got a little curve in it right there. Let's try this one. Yep. Should go right back there. Look at that. What do we need to do now? We need to put our face trim on. Now my face trim is going to be a side piece that's going to be all the way up to here. It's going to be the 20, it's going to be whatever this measurement was, plus 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to give a reveal on that top. When I put the sides on, it'll also have a 1/8 inch reveal. So we need to go from here up to here. I have that measurement written down, plus 1/8 of an inch. Do the same thing over here, plus the 1/8 of an inch. And my top piece, remember the bottom piece was 33? The top piece is going to be 33. You got 28.5. So I need 2 at 28.5. Now these are a little bit wider. So I got 1x4s for these. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I just cut that one a sliver over 28.5. Again, if I was doing this in the shop, I'd have stops set up on my saws. There we go. There's my 2 uprights. They go on just like this. Leave a little reveal right down here. In other words, just don't put them up tight. You know, don't put them flush. Looks a little bit better when you have a little reveal. We'll get those on in a minute. Now you need 133 for the top. Now I'm just going to eyeball my reveal here. Okay. Oh, forgot. I forgot. I got to put a little glue on the bottom here. There we go. Okay. Make sure that's tight down to the bottom. I'm going to flip this up here now. We're going to put a staple in here. Like that. Or that gives you a nice tight fit here. Got nice tight glued seam here. Again, we got a little, it's a little tall over here. That's for the reveal on the top. Let's take the other side. We're going to do the same exact thing. That's what we got so far. Now we just need to put that top one on. Yeah, put a little glue on there. Put a little glue on here. How's that look? I think it looked darn good. Now I did put glue on here, and this side over here is really good. It's nice and flush. This side's got a little bit of a lip right here. And I'm going to show you how I fix that. There's a couple of different ways you can handle this. You could come to the back and you could use a small mending plate right here. You can see that little lip right there, see it? This side doesn't have it. Or you can do what I'm going to do next. I'm going to drill a pilot hole about halfway through here. Then I'm going to use a trim screw. I'm going to hold this, drive the trim screw down in. It'll hold this as it dries. It'll hold it as the glue dries. And it'll give you a nice flush face over here instead of having that little lip on it. If you're going to do the drilling method, make sure you're drilling down through here straight. You want to get over here maybe 3/4 of an inch from the edge. But you definitely got to drill straight. You don't have much to play with there. Pop that out. Pop a bit in. Grab one of these trim screws. You can get these trim screws, I think, up to 3.5 inches long. So if you went to a 3.5 inch screw, you don't have to drill down through here about an inch. So I'm going to drop that down in there. I'm going to flush this out in the front. And there we go. I'm going to drill this side out now. Do the same thing over here. So there's the window trim built away from the window. I have some glue that squished out. I'm going to wait till it dries, then I'll use a scraper on that. If you were going to paint, it wouldn't matter. But I'm going to varnish these. If you're going to varnish or you're going to stain, it does matter. Because stain won't absorb into that glue. On the back, it doesn't matter. There's glue coming out. That doesn't matter one bit. But I think that looks pretty nice. And if you had a bunch of these to do, and you had a nice flat tables in a shop, set up a little assembly line, and you could have these, whipped out, cut out, and probably finish in 15 minutes each. So that's what I like to do with these. It gives you nice tight seams. None of these are going to come apart. If you've ever trimmed windows in place, nothing's perfect. You end up with, your top's got a little crook in it. Your gaps are different. This is going to save you a heck of a lot of time, scribing and cutting on angles and getting everything tight fitting. Let's go ahead and pop one of these into place. Put it in, and I'll show you how I'm going to be attaching these. And if you don't cover the screw heads up, you can take these out anytime. If you have to replace your windows, or something like that, something got damaged, water damage, you could take the whole thing out and replace it and not have to yank screws or yank nails out. Some people will nail this way, then they'll nail this way. They'll nail into the face of the other piece over here to get a nice tight seam. It just makes it crazy taking them apart. This one's dry. This was done like 2 hours ago. So this one's all nice and dry, nice and cute, set up. I did cut little angles here. All I did was measure an inch from the corner, an inch this way, and just put a diagonal on there and cut that off. You don't have to cut those off. It just gives you a little neater look. Okay, where am I going to put my screws in? Well, really, you only need screws into your framing on your uprights here. Just make sure you drive it back. Make sure it's tight. Now I have a reveal up here. Now what I can do here is tap this side up so that my reveal, a little bit more, look at my reveal now across here. it's even. Now I can go ahead and put a screw in. I'm just gonna go over here. I know I got a 2x4 frame in here. So I'm just gonna go right about there. Make sure that reveal stays the same. And drive that in. Do the same thing over here. Put one here on the bottom. And I'll pop one in right there. Look at that, it's nice and tight. Nice looking reveals. Take a look. So what do you all think? Is it worth the time? Leave a comment down below if you think it is. If you don't think it is, leave a comment. Tell me I'm crazy. But I think that looks really nice. And the last thing we have to do here is come across the bottom with a piece. And that's just gonna be a board. I'll cut some angles, just like these angles here. I'll just cut down like this. Cut down here like this. Basically a board that looks like the sill, except it'll be on the wall. And that'll trim off that bottom. And it also gives support. And I'm a little bit upright here because I had to lift this up to make my reveal good. So it's the sill's a little bit tiny up, and it'll give you some support on the front of that sill. I have 2 more of these to build, this size, and I got one smaller one in the bathroom. I'm gonna do those off video, and when we come back on the next video, we'll have another project in our tiny log cabin build. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate too if you'd hit that like button, leave a comment, tell your friends and families, and definitely hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. See you on the next episode. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.